Hello. Studies began in the 1950s to determine how Americans feel towards persons with a mental illness. A 10-year study done by Indiana University showed that in 2006, over 64% of the American people believe that persons with a mental illness are dangerous, violent, uneducated, and have poor personal hygiene. I was born and raised in North Carolina. I'm a decorated Vietnam veteran, and my greatest victory in that war was to have never fired my weapon. That was because my responsibilities were to transport the Australian demolition team out to ships in the harbor to locate, disarm, or detonate mines or other IEDs. I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. Because of my work as a corporate controller, my wife was able to stay at home with our children until they were in high school. But you see, I have bipolar. I have been inducted into the National Alliance on Mental Illness of North Carolina's Hall of Fame. For over 15 years, as a volunteer, I have facilitated support groups for families who have a member with a mental illness and also support groups for persons suffering from a severe mental illness. In all that time, I've seen over 1,000 people, and I've never heard one describe nor have I observed any forms of violence. The University of Washington Sociology Department, reporting on the facts about mental illness and violence, points out only a small portion of violence in our society can be attributed to people with a mental illness. It goes on to say that people with severe mental illness, schizophrenia, bipolar, or psychosis are 2.5 times more likely to be attacked, raped, or mugged than the general population. In a recent article in the New York Times, in Gun Debate, a misguided focus on mental illness, states in part, the gunman, Adam Lanza, has been described as a loner who was intelligent and socially awkward. And while no official diagnosis has been made public, armchair diagnosticians have been quick to assert that keeping guns from getting into the hands of people with a mental illness would help solve the problem of gun homicide. It goes on to say, but there is overwhelming evidence that the vast majority of people with psychiatric disorders do not commit violent acts. Only about 4% of violence in the United States can be attributed to people with a mental illness. However, over the course of the last year, but more frequently in the last 2 months, due to the tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, unrelenting comments about violence, gun control, and the mentally ill have been made by the national news networks and prominent people. These excessive comments only extend America's belief that persons with a mental illness are dangerous and violent. It is inconceivable and sad to think that those persons, the president, the vice president, senators, congressmen, and women, sworn to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, have sentenced persons with a mental illness to a life of ridicule, shame, and discrimination. I hope that our lawmakers will recognize how damaging their comments have been and begin to assess the discrimination and enact laws that will protect the rights of persons with a mental illness and eliminate this ridicule and discrimination. How does a nation so committed to assuring that the rights guaranteed by the Constitution of the United States of America apply to all Americans and protection for those in this country illegally, but strongly deny these rights and protections to people with a mental illness. I hope this video will begin to change the hearts and minds of the American people to eliminate the ridicule and discrimination towards people with a mental illness. Thank you.